In 2018, a simple baggage handler managed to steal a passenger plane, take off in it, and performed multiple stunts such as backflips and barrel rolls for an hour over the skies of America to perfection. But what happened to him? Find out in this video, and please subscribe, thank you. Richard Russell, nicknamed Bebo, was a goofy baggage handler or ground service agent at the Seattle-Tacoma airport. He was raised by a military family in Alaska and had a loving wife Hannah, who was his childhood sweetheart from school. He was described as a very kind man. Bebo's responsibilities around the airport were pretty basic, but after a few years, he was offered a lot more responsibility by starting up planes and towing them to the direction of travel to help save pilots time. This was a big deal to allow somebody other than flight crew into the cockpit of a plane, especially alone. Bebo was fascinated with the aircrafts and was only allowed to touch certain parts that were pivotal to his role of towing, despite his temptation. Bebo had been caught playing with other controls before and was warned by a pilot who reported the incident. Nevertheless, no harm was done, and Bebo got to keep his job, albeit a little embarrassed by the event. On the 10th of August, 2018, and shortly before 7 p.m., 29-year-old Bebo was asked to tow a Bombardier Q400, owned by Horizon Air for Alaska Airlines, from the far north end of the airport's cargo hold. Bebo entered the cockpit to start the propellers, but instead of returning to his vehicle to tow the aircraft, he took a seat. Bebo had always wanted to fly a plane, and played hundreds of computer games doing exactly this kind of thing, but had no official piloting experience. This is when Bebo started to lose his mind, as this was an ideal opportunity to fly a plane, and the adrenaline kicked in. With nobody else in the cockpit, Bebo couldn't resist any longer, and rolled the plane forward. He was stealing a plane. The 13-foot propellers were no longer idle, and the plane taxied towards the runway. Air traffic control spotted the unauthorized attempt at takeoff and began frantically trying to make contact with Bebo, but he either didn't hear them or was ignoring them. It was too late. At 7:32 p.m., the Q400 roared down the runway, and unbelievably made a successful takeoff. Flights in and out of Sea-Tac Airport were immediately suspended. The Seattle Tower continued to try and make contact with Bebo, who eventually responded with odd sayings, such as "broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess." His actions had caused two McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle fighters to be scrambled to intercept Bebo and the plane, and he had now set in motion a criminal plot he couldn't come back from. Russell told the air traffic controller that his objective was to start the Q400 and get it into the air for a couple of hours. However, he confessed to a worrying lack of plan from there on, even commenting that he wasn't really planning on landing it. Bebo performed all sorts of crazy and dangerous maneuvers, such as looping the plane, and at such a low altitude, allowing many people to capture the wild sightings on video. These abrasive maneuvers caused Bebo to be sick and become lightheaded. NORAD was tracking Bebo's flight, and concluded that he was suicidal when fear was detected in his voice, and asked for advice on what he should do. By 8 p.m., Bebo had been in the air for almost 30 minutes, and seen a lot of Seattle and its neighboring islands, and reality had set in, that this plane was not going to land safely in the conventional way, despite being given as much assistance and options for places to land as possible, and the fuel would not last forever. NORAD eventually scrambled their jets out of Portland International Airport, following the FAA's advice that the pilot was a danger and a threat. The fully armed jets caught up to Bebo almost 45 minutes after he had been in the air at 8:15 p.m., but were still hesitant to action following the rules of engagement, which caused chaos during 9/11. Air traffic control kept trying to convince Bebo to land, and with jets on his tail, he even said, "Hey, you think if I land this successfully, Alaska will give me a job as a pilot?" It appeared that Bebo had no chance of landing, and 17 incoming flights had already been diverted to nearby airports, and caused 75 delays, and 5 cancellations. With the situation not being terrorism, the F-15s trailed at a close distance, pondering on how to bring this matter to a safe end. Bebo careered over the Olympic Mountains, and the urgency heightened when he announced over the radio, "I got a lot of people that care about me, and it's going to disappoint them to hear that I did this. I would like to apologize to each and every one of them. I'm just a broken guy. Got a few screws loose, I guess. Never really knew it till now." The F-15s were then authorized to headbutt the Q400, and even to drop warning flares to enlist Bebo's compliance, but Bebo continued looping and flipping the plane like a possessed stuntman. Bebo had been in the air for over an hour now, and worryingly announced, "Think I'm gonna try to do a barrel roll," and if that goes good, then I'll just nose down and call it a night. At the time of this message, the plane was over water, but the 108-foot-long plane increased altitude, performed some more dives and upside-down swoops that could have easily stalled this kind of plane at 10 feet above the water. It was amazing in a creepy way that a man with no official piloting experience was flying a passenger airliner in a crazy fashion to perfection, thanks to instructional videos he had watched online. Suddenly, the fun had come to an end, and dangerously low on fuel, Bibo intentionally nosedived the plane into the woodland at the southern end of tiny Ketron Island. The impact of the trees caused the wings to fly off, and sparked a 2-acre fire. The FBI's official report confirmed that Bibo died of multiple traumatic injuries. After 1 hour and 15 minutes in the air, Bibo's crash landing was confirmed at 8:46 p.m. and died by suicide. The full extent of the reasons why Bibo did this have not been determined, but was not considered terrorism, and more along the lines of him being depressed or mentally unwell. It is claimed that Bibo decided to end it all the way he wanted to, which meant stealing a plane, inconveniencing many people, taking up hours of people's lives, putting others in danger, and causing over $30 million worth of damage for the plane, and taxpayers' money for everything else. The actions of one person's lunacy often becomes everybody else's problem, but sadly for Bibo, his final flight was still met with pain and upset. Bibo's grieving family stated that he was a faithful husband, a loving man, and a good friend, with the incident that led to his death being a complete shock. Both friends and family of Bibo believe he may have suffered a brain injury during his time at high school when he played football, and a teammate suggested Bibo's mental instability had been caused by an undiagnosed chronic traumatic encephalopathy that may have come from repeated concussions. In April 2022, the FBI released 500 pages of heavily redacted classified documents related to the investigation, but will we ever find out the truth? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and please subscribe. Thank you.